everyone. I am Stephanie Van Bark, and I am a small business owner. Welcoming you to Just Talking Business. And we are streaming live today. I hope we have some folks that'll tune in because this is a very, very special show. Today, this show is powered by the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust, we affectionately refer to as MDEAT. They and I have worked together to do a series of shows that's really about providing information to entrepreneurs about how to really manage business. And so we started last week with representatives of BBIF to talk to you about capital investment. And today's show is about customer management. So the young man that we have on today, we've actually had on before, and he shared with us a lot about how he's pivoted throughout the years with regards to his business. So today he is the perfect candidate to talk to us about customer management, and we will bring him on. Let's meet Dexter Bridgeman. Thank you so much for
Hey,
joining us.
it's a pleasure to be here, Stephanie. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I was just telling them a little bit about, I've known you for years and you've been in business
Yeah.
for years. We'd like to start with who you are and what you do, but I also want to tell them about the celebration you're about to have on Saturday.
All right. Which one want me to lead with? The celebration or
Who
my
you
background?
are, what you do, and then
Okay. Well, my name is Dexter Bridgeman. I am the CEO and publisher of MI Media Group. We're a multi-platform media company where we have a digital platform. We have a print platform with 3 publications that are distributed inside the Miami Herald and the Sun Sentinel. And then we have a multitude of shows, 6 shows actually, that are on the CW network, WSFL, that runs on Sunday mornings from 11 to 2 o'clock. I'm a native of New York and been here for 20 years. I've been an entrepreneur for 32 years, which is a tremendous feeling that I've never received a check that didn't have my company name on it for 32 years.
oh, nice.
So that's a really great feeling. So I moved down here in 2004, and I decided to start a publication, a media company. And now I'm celebrating on May 18th. I'm celebrating my 20th year anniversary as a company and as a publication with
Okay.
my legacy publications. It's going to be at the Lowe's Hotel on Miami Beach. We're going to have hundreds of people there. At this point in time, I believe we have a little over 600 people. It's a black
Oh,
tie event
wow.
hosted. It's the honorary chairperson is the Honorable Daniela Levine Cava, the mayor of Miami-Dade County, and just a slew of dignitaries and business people and community leaders that will be celebrating this evening with me and the community.
It's a wonderful milestone for sure. I just celebrated with a friend who was celebrating 10 years, so 20 years is amazing and it's phenomenal. And
It's challenging because the last 20 years, especially the last several years, as you well know, going back to 2008,
mhm,
and then 2019 again with COVID, has been very challenging for any business, not just black businesses, but any business, all
right,
businesses throughout big and small. A lot of companies didn't make it after 2008, and certainly a lot of companies had their issues in 2019,
right. And
2020.
and that's what we interviewed you the first time on the way you've had to pivot and evolve throughout your business, which you and I have several conversations, and I think you have been just
Always.
wonderful at that for sure. Yeah, look, I'm trying to get all kind of information I can. So let's start with this. Who do you consider your customer? You and I work in the same industry, and it's very interesting when you're talking to people who have actual widgets or retail. We have a different dynamic going on. So I really want others to understand how this creative space identifies customers, who they identify as their customers.
Well, my editorial platform for all of my businesses is editorializing the success and the achievement of the Black community in South Florida. So
Okay.
if you have a product or service that want to reach the Black professional community in South Florida, then you could be a customer of mine, and vice versa. So if you're trying to reach that market, you're trying to reach that demographic, then I'm your person. I'm your company.
And do you consider your audience, are they subscribing to your publication as well? Would they also be considered customers?
Well, I have, as far as the publication goes, I paid the Miami Herald and the Sun Sentinel the
Mhm.
rights to have my publication distributed
Okay.
inside of their publications.
Okay.
So
Okay.
wherever you see the Miami Herald, you will see the Sun, and wherever you see the Miami Herald, when my publication comes out, you'll see a copy of my publication. Wherever you see the Sun Sentinel and my publication comes out, you'll see a copy of my publication.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, let's start from the beginning. Customer management to me means you have put together a process, operational strategy around acquiring customers and also retaining them. So, if you don't mind sharing, what has been your process of acquiring and retaining customers, and how has that evolved over the years?
Well, I think you got to treat your customers, give them the the white glove treatment.
Hmm.
And there's a famous grocery chain in Westchester County in New York and Connecticut, um, and it's called Stu Leonard's.
Hmm.
And Stu Leonard's, they have interesting products, different types of products than the average grocery store. And they have a rule. That rule number one: the customer is always right. Rule number two: customer is always right. Rule number three: if yeah, read if you have a problem with rule number one, and if you have a problem with any of these rules, then read them over
You
again.
want me to?
So the customer is always right.
Right, right, right,
Always right.
right,
Now, whether that is true or not, you know, that's not open for you to discuss with the
right.
customer. I mean,
Oh,
there's a way to deal with the customer and explain to them, hey, diplomatically and professionally, that something that this happened or this went wrong from their point perspective, is it happens. It
right,
happens where a customer drops the ball or a customer makes the mistake, but you don't make them feel like an idiot.
right,
you
right,
know
right, right.
at the end of the day, you got to make them feel like, hey, it's okay, it's okay, we'll work through this, we'll get through this.
And when there is a challenging situation with regards to a customer, do you handle it, meaning Dexter, or is it someone in your staff that handles those situations, or would you prefer to be the?
No, that's the Dexter Bridgeman show is long gone, you know, unless it has to be elevated to me.
Uh huh.
But that's why I mean, I'm not the Miami Herald, I'm not the Sun Sentinel. We got hundreds of people, but I have enough people to handle those types of issues. So
Okay.
when there's a problem that comes up, they have to handle it,
Right.
unless it's a huge problem. Like there was an issue just this week. Customer is as an ad on my
Uh oh. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't hear you. It went blank for a second and then came back up. Hello? Do I hear you? No. And do you want to maybe pop off and hop back on? Okay. Wait. Do you want to? I think you just swiped off. Okay. Okay. Well, he popped off for a second, I think, or it says device is not connected. Okay. Let's see. But in the meantime, let me just remind you that this show is being powered by the Miami-Dade Economic Advocacy Trust. So thank you to MD. Really, I think this is a wealth of information that we're able to share. As I mentioned, it's a series, and so next week's series actually will be with Kanasha Paul from the Black Professional Network organization, and it's all about networking and how you are able to leverage relationships and how you are able to you need a family, you need a tribe, you need a community, and I have definitely found my tribe with actually as a part of an organization that I'm connected to with regards to Dexter, and that's the Black Owned Media Alliance. So not sure what's happening, Dexter. Can we hear you? Do we see you?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I hear
Can
you,
you
but
hear
I
me?
don't see you.
Okay, let's see what's going on. Camera. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
You
I know
got
you
me?
got
Got
your
me. Okay,
there.
we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Okay. So sorry
You made
about
it.
that.
You made it. I just kept the
So
commercial going until you got it.
okay. So to just dive right back into my explanation,
That's fine.
we
Okay, I'm sorry.
that's okay. We had a situation with an ad that we, we had a situation with an ad that's on my newsletter from a particular client, and they're like, hey, when we hit the click on the link, it nothing happens.
Okay.
Now we tried 10 times, and each time it worked. So it wasn't us. It was, and not only did we, but we went to other people and said, hey, check out our links to make sure it's just not working for us internally,
Mhm.
but make sure it's working externally. So we realized that it was the customer,
It's customer use, right?
and they apologized and what have you, blah 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 blah. But you've got to always, you know, make sure that you do your due diligence and you do everything in your power to make sure that whatever the problem is, that you're able to solve it for them. And if
Yes.
it's your problem, you know what, you got to deal with it and handle it. But if it's also their problem, again, you don't make them look like an idiot, make them look like a
Right.
fool. You said, hey, I think you were not doing this, that, or the other. We explained it to them, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. So now they understand.
Yes.
It's all a matter of how you treat your customers. You got to treat your customers, like I said, white glove treatment. Absolutely, always.
And do you feel like have you heard information? As somebody just said, gave a heart to that statement. Have you heard what your customers, any feedback from your customers as to how they feel your service is?
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing about it is this also, and when you're an entrepreneur, it's also about you.
Hmm.
And there's no way. It's like you, Stephanie. There's no way you can separate your business from who you are,
Hmm.
right?
That's true. Hmm.
And you can try to do it all the time. There's no way I can separate my business from who I am.
Hmm.
So when they think about Dexter Bridgeman, they also think about MIA Media Group. When they think about MIA Media Group, they think about Dexter Bridgeman. So if Dexter Bridgeman messes up, MIA Media Group messes up. If
Right.
MIA Media Group messes up, Dexter Bridgeman messes up.
Right.
So you're always on your P's and Q's. And I will tell you that what's one of the things that's really, really, really important is to have likability.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean when I
Yes, I
say
agree.
likability?
Yes.
If you have likability, people will do business with you because they like you. You understand what I'm saying? I
Yes.
mean, there's a you gotta have talent. You've got to have a good product. There's a famous coach. His name is Mike Krzyzewski, and Mike he retired about 2 years ago as the nation's all-time leading college basketball coach.
Okay.
And I heard him do a speech one day, and they said, what makes your program so successful? He said, well, the first thing you got to do is you got to be really good to play for me.
Hmm.
Not average. You got to be really, really good.
Hmm.
And if you're really good, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna fit my profile. You also have to fit my profile and
Hmm.
be able to play within the boundaries of what of what I say or what my rules are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with regards to MIA Media Group, with regards to Dexter Bridgeman, it's all about, hey, I have a certain likability. I have a certain way of doing things. I treat my customers like the way I want to be treated. Do
Mm,
unto others like the way you do unto you. You know
right.
what I mean?
Right.
That's very,
And you
very
always
important.
rely on that.
That's
It's
right. That's
always
right.
rely on that.
And your customers will always, if you treat your customers well, they will always come back to you. They'll always come back to you. There's always been I have had situations, and even situations now, where customers will say, Dexter, I don't have a lot of money for this budget, but you know what? I've got a little bit of something. But you know what? I'm gonna try to get some more for you because I like you and I like what you're doing.
Okay. Okay.
And it's more about, I hate to say it. I mean, again, I got a good product, but it's also a lot about me,
Me.
and
Yeah.
it's also a lot about you.
Yeah.
And people will not, and people will say, I've heard customers say, well, so and so, and they're like, I will never spend $1 with him, and the person got a pretty good product.
I know it
But they're
just
like, I will never spend a dollar with he or she
right.
because no likability,
Right. And you don't
or
feel like you can
they have
trust
issues.
them. Right. You don't feel
Right,
like you can trust
right,
them in the same way. Um,
exactly.
so may I ask, okay, so you said your target market is primarily African American, and that
Not
is
primarily, not
is
primarily.
African American.
And let me make sure we understand. We're very clear, crystal clear. My demographic is the African American community in
Okay.
South Florida. Now, you could be, let's say you're Afro-Cuban, let's say you're Afro Hispanic, and
Hmm.
if you resonate and you say that I'm black, you're black. Hey, then you're my demo.
So has that evolved over the years, or have you been steadfast from day one? This is the
Yeah.
audience, and this is the advertisers that we are going to go after to serve this demographic.
I'm not apologetic about it. I've been in this for
I
20
know that.
years. This has been my demographic. And as I say it again, it took me. It's really it's the words are only like 10 words or something like that. You editorialize the success, the achievement of the black community. But it took me a little while to figure that out, to get that
Right.
to get that phrase. You know what I'm saying? It takes
I
a
like that
while to come up
too.
with that, to come up with it. So if I'm in an elevator, hey, tell me about MIA Media Group. What does your company do? Oh, well, we editorialize the success, the achievement, of the black community. Bam, done.
Right, right, right,
And I
right.
think, I know that's not why I'm here, but I think everybody should have a
Yeah.
little something, some sort of elevator pitch about who they are and what they do. Doesn't have to be long, 15 seconds, 10 seconds,
Hmm.
boom. And then if it gets someone's interest, then they'll ask you more and more and more.
Now, let me ask this question because I know I'll say this is really a challenge for me. You have someone interested. Do you have a formal timeline by which you aspire to get a yes out of the contract? And how are you able to move some of those conversations forward?
Well, I think that's a very good question, and everybody's different. I mean, some customers will tell you right away, "I want to move right now. I'm ready to do business today, tomorrow, whatever, next week." And then some customers will say, "Well, I'm kicking tires right now. I'm not ready. I'll be, I'm doing this
Okay.
for the second quarter or third quarter or fourth quarter." And then if that's the case, then you continue to develop a relationship with them. Hey, just calling you, just want to make sure that you know that I'm still here and I'm still interested, and hopefully you're still interested. If they want to do business today, then I'm interested in doing business today. Let's get it on. Hey, no time like the present.
Right.
No time like the present. But
But
you also have to act like you've been there before as well. You
right.
can't bum rush a client. You can't. This is not like you go on a date your first date with a woman. You can't think you're gonna you know
You're not gonna
you
make the
know you got
deal tonight.
right,
That
right. You might not even get a kiss the first night. You gotta, act like you've been there before. Hey, take it slow, buddy. Slow down, slow down. Give her a nice hug, whatever the case may be. you come back to this, come back next time, you might get a kiss on the cheek, but you
You
gotta act like you've been there before. You can't,
learn how to make the
that's
massage
right.
that relationship. But
That's
you and I
right.
were talking a little earlier, and you were talking about the responsibility of the entrepreneur when it comes to there's a specific responsibilities with regards to what we should be doing to really acquire those kinds of customers that we're looking for. Did you want to speak to that a little bit, as well as because we talked a little bit, you got to hustle, you got to put the skin in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen by osmosis, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You've got to go out there and, if someone's interested or if there's a possibility of a client out there, just because they're interested doesn't mean they're gonna call you tomorrow. You got to show that you're that you're that that you recognize that they're interested, and you got to let them know that you want the business.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Let them know that you want the business. Hey, what does it take? What are you looking for?
Okay.
What is this? What's important to you? Is the price important to you? Is my product important to you? Is it both? What is going to take you to make a decision?
Okay. Okay.
It's always good when a client calls you up and says, "Well, I know who you are. I know what you represent. I've been looking at you for a while, and I'm ready to do business now." But that doesn't happen
That just
That
doesn't
doesn't
happen
happen
all
every
the
day.
time.
No.
That's true.
A client's going to always continue to do their due diligence, even if they know that they want to do business with you. They're going to continue to do their due diligence. They're going to have a list of questions still. I've
Hmm.
had clients say, "I want to do business with you, but I have a list of questions that I need you to answer for me
Now that
on your
that speaks
products, on
to
your services."
now let me yeah, that speaks to like what is your pitch process like? So you've got a customer interested, they want to have a meeting and they want to see what you're all about. Do you take every bell and whistle you've ever had? Do you have as starting day one, 35, 20 years ago? Or, is there a presentation that you give, or
Yeah.
how does that work?
Well, first of all, I'm not arrogant enough to think that you can't think that everybody knows who you are.
Right.
You've been
Yes.
maybe been around 50 years, 60 years, 20 years, whatever the case may be. Not everybody's going to know who you are
Yes.
and what you represent. And so I always say, hey, especially if I'm out and about or, hey, and someone says, what do you do? Oh, I'm with MI Media Group. What is MI Media Group? Well, I don't know if you've heard of the publication or not, but I have a publication called Legacy and MIA and this, that, and the other. And I said I'm not going to be arrogant enough or presumptuous enough to think that you just automatically know who I am or what my products are. Some people will say, "Oh yeah, I'm familiar," and some people say no.
That's a
And
good
if
point.
they say no, and if they may not be asking you to explain, but you just hey,
Mm.
at that point in time, if they're interested, they'll say, "Oh, well, what is it all about?" And then you go into it. But to answer your question about is there a pitch or is there some sort of
PowerPoint
presentation?
presentation, press
It
kit.
all it all depends on who the client is.
Okay.
Some clients you're going to have to do all of that. Some clients you don't.
Okay.
Some clients, will even tell you, well, I don't want all that. I want you to I want you to explain it to me from your heart. I want you to explain it to me exactly who exactly as it is. I don't want all that. Again, some people like analytics. Some people want all that. Some people don't. So you have to figure that out yourself.
Okay. Now, do you have any technical tools? I was reading through, just doing a little research, and again, this I feel like this applies a lot more to people who have widgets and products, and customers that purchase like that. There are tools that let you know, hey, it's birthday time, or some kind of system or tools or technical tools that you utilize to really lean into those customers for special occasions, or to let them know you're thinking of them, to keep that kind of have you found that's been something that you've needed to do, and if so, how?
Um, I mean, that's a yes or no answer. Again, it all depends on who the customer is because not
Mhm.
every customer is the same. So some customers, you want to, they want you to know when their birthday is. They want you to take them out to lunch or whatever the case may be. Take them out to a basketball game or football game or baseball game or concert, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Some are like, no, they're not interested in that. So it all depends on who the customer is. You cannot treat each customer the same. Again,
Okay.
you treat each customer with the white glove treatment, as I said you should do always. But not every customer is the same.
Right.
Personalities are different. You know what I mean? The products and services that they may have is going to be always different. I've got a multitude. I got hospitals. I got power
Mhm.
companies. I've got lawyers. I've got doctors. I've got I've got municipalities. So and each one of these customers are different individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've
You
just
know,
had over the years your relationship that's helped you to identify how that um how that
yeah,
appreciation should be shown.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, and then there's some customers that are just real. Some customers are animated, and you can joke around with them and play around with them, and back and forth, and hey, act like they may be like your best friend. Then you
Right.
got customers who are real serious, and and at that point in time, you got to switch it up.
Yeah.
You got to switch it up. It's their personality. That don't mean that they don't like you or anything of that nature, but that's their personality. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to be able to relate to all of your customers accordingly.
Okay. So we have this conversation all the time with the organization. We're both in BOMA. I mentioned earlier the Black Owned Media Alliance, and there's been I guess, a shift in the what customers, or are you finding that there's a shift in customers asking more print or less print, more digital, and how are you navigating both the education of and the incorporation of whatever they're looking for and where they're looking to put their dollars.
Well, as someone who started off in print, when
Mhm.
I started working with the Miami Herald and the Sun Sentinel, their circulations were upward of 300,000. And I'm talking about print circulation, we're up to
Mhm.
300. On the best day, the Miami Herald was 55,000. On the
Wow.
best day, the Sun Sentinel was 75,000.
Wow.
Uh, so it's just a matter of time. And what I decided to do when I saw that, I had at one point in time put all my resources on Facebook and social media to say, okay, well, I'm gonna make sure that social media that I have a great presence on there. But then I was talking to someone who was smarter than me, and that's a whole other category. You
Surround
can't always
yourself
be
with
the
smart
smartest person in
people.
the room. You can't always be the smartest person in the room. But this person knew a lot about, and like, why would you put all that, all of that, all your resources into another company where they're taking advantage of it? So I'm like, you know what? You're right. So then I started my newsletters, and
Right.
from my newsletters, I started doing the broadcast shows on Facebook Live and YouTube. And next thing I knew, I ended up getting a call, and now I'm on network television. But the point I'm making, and I'm going around about, is this: it's just going to take one advertiser, one major advertiser, one big advertiser. It may be Apple, it may be Ford, it may be General Motors, whomever it may be, and they're going to say, you know what, we're done with print. We're going to do everything through digital. And this is a copycat world that we're in. And
Right.
guess what? Everybody's then gonna follow suit, and that's when print will die.
Right. I
But
100% agree. I hate
but
to
you know what? I will be ready if that happens. I'm ready. I'm ready. Like in 2008, they caught everybody with their pants down. You're not gonna catch me with my pants down again. That's not gonna happen.
And look, before we go, I actually want to go back to that because during the pivot show that we talked about, we were in the middle of the pandemic when this show started, and I interviewed Dexter, and it was interesting because you talked a lot about how 2008 was such an impact on your business and how you really realized you had to shift and 20, so you were almost prepared for the pandemic in a way at the time. So can you share a little bit about what that time was, and what were some of those real substantive changes you had to make sure you weren't caught with your pants
Well,
down?
after getting past 2008, I decided that I was going to change the way I did business, and that's when I said I came up with the idea of the newsletter. But then what ended up happening was when the pandemic happened, I said, I got to change the way I go after business.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to use a fish net. I'm going to be a sniper. I'm not going to try to go out fishing with a net and try to catch a hundred fish at one time. I'm going to take a gun, a sniper gun, and I'm going to shoot them one at a time. And
Right.
that's what I did. And honestly, my sales soared
Okay.
during COVID. I had
Really?
that yes, yes,
Wow. Very cool.
because I only went after three or four markets. I went after the healthcare market.
Hmm.
I went after the education market, and I went after the governmental market.
Okay.
And there's a whole lot, and they're the only ones spending money. Because the government was spending a whole lot of money. The federal government and local government spending a
You're
lot of
right.
money. Hospitals were spending money,
Because
and
corporations were struggling.
education. So,
Corporations were
exactly,
struggling.
exactly,
So
exactly,
yeah, they were getting PPP money too. So you know what I mean? Like, so yeah,
exactly,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So I
So
remember that
so
conversation.
yeah. But you always have to be on your p's and q's and be ready for the next big thing, because
Right.
you can't do business that you did. I always say one of my Dexterisms, and I came up with a couple of actually I started to come up with five, and I came up with 20 success methods, and one of them is, one of my Dexterisms is you either evolve or you die.
It's true.
You evolve or
That's
you
very
die.
true.
There's a whole lot of companies out there, bigger billion-dollar companies that
Mhm.
could not evolve.
It's true.
Blockbuster,
That's true.
Blockbuster, Eastern Airlines, Compaq
Book
Computers.
companies,
You know,
bookstores, JC Penney.
yes, yes. There's tons of them, tons
Look
of
at
them.
malls. I'm always intrigued by malls because I started in retail, and
Yeah.
they trained you to look at bags as people are walking through malls to see how your sales were going. I'm talking
Hmm.
nobody has any bags anymore.
Right,
Like,
right,
ain't looking good.
right, right. Wow.
But it's sad. It's sad. It's
Exactly,
sad. Yeah. So okay, well,
exactly.
I won't bother you anymore because I know you're a busy man and you got work to do. And I
No, this
do
was
appreciate
enjoyed this very
your
much.
sharing what your tips and tools have been with regards to being successful. Congratulations on 20 years. And
Thank you.
I'll probably be calling you to get some more advice pretty soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm here for you. You know that.
Yes, I do appreciate it too. And look, Dexter and I were at a workshop recently where we both learned a lot of stuff. We were like,
Yeah, yeah.
what?
Like I said, you can't. And I may know a few things, but there's always. I'm not trying to be the smartest person in the room, because if I am, then you know what? I got to find another room to go to.
Right, right. There's
I, you know,
always some stuff to learn.
I'm
Always.
interested in learning. I'm interested in learning.
Exactly.
I think if you stop learning, you become stupid.
I agree. I agree. You get stuck in one thing and you can't please your customer that way. You can't. Or you
Absolutely,
still be putting all
absolutely.
your eggs in baskets and stuff that don't even exist anymore.
Right, right. You are.
Well, wait,
Right,
before you
you are.
go, tell us how we can find you.
You can find me on my website address obviously is mimmediagroup.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at MIM Media Group GRP. And so hey, we're everywhere. We try to be everywhere when it comes to social media, and we're easy to find.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much. Okay, I'll have to remember to thank Miami Dade. Wait, let me make sure you can see it. Um, this show was powered by Miami Dade Economic Advocacy Trust we affectionately refer to as MD. I'm gonna have to thank them for that because I think that was such a powerful show. Learned a lot. Actually, Gary Harris. Hi, Gary. She's my sorority sister. Said it was an excellent interview. Always great to hear from Dexter. Great job, Stephanie. Great interview. Always great to hear from Dexter. So thank you very much. To everyone, please join us again next week where we will talk to Kanasha Paul of the Black Professional Network, who will talk to us about being part of a network. So thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you again real soon. And y'all have a great day.